The first night of a blackout is confusion. The second night is exhaustion. But the third day is where survival actually begins. Because after 72 hours without power, something dangerous starts happening. Not outside, inside the systems you depend on. Water pressure may be failing. Food decisions start to matter. And the question people don't want to ask appears quietly in the background. Do you stay or do you move? The survival manual is very clear about something uncomfortable. Most survival situations don't collapse all at once. They collapse because small problems are ignored until they become big ones. 72 hours is where that process begins. By the third day, you're not just dealing with cold, you're dealing with depletion. Water systems depend on electric pumps. Heating systems depend on fuel or electricity. Food refrigeration has already lost its advantage, and your body has now been under stress for more than 48 hours. The survival manual explains that stress accumulates: sleep disruption, cold exposure, uncertainty. Each one reduces your ability to think clearly. Individually, they are manageable. Together, they create a slow decline in decision quality. And survival rarely fails. Because of one dramatic mistake, it fails. Because tired people start making small ones. So how do you make the right decision? Because in these situations, movement is the instinct. People want to go look for help, look for supplies, look for information. But in cold environment, movement is expensive. And once you leave your shelter, you might not be able to return. By the third day, many people reach the same conclusion. They should leave. Food is running low. The house feels colder. Nothing seems to be improving. And waiting starts to feel like doing nothing. So people pack a bag, step outside, and begin walking toward something. Somewhere with heat, somewhere with help. But cold survival has a dangerous pattern. People don't leave because leaving is safer. They leave because they are tired of waiting. And that decision is where many survival situations begin to fail. Because the real rule is this: stay put unless staying becomes more dangerous than leaving. But that raises the real question. How do you know when that moment has arrived? Survival instructors often reduce the decision to 4 simple checks. If these 4 things are stable, you stay. If one of them fails, you start planning to move. Shelter, water, health, information. First, shelter. If your shelter still protects you from wind and cold, it is doing its job. Leaving a functioning shelter in freezing conditions almost always increases risk. Second, water. You can survive without food for days. Without water, your body begins to fail much faster. If you still have access to water or a reliable way to obtain it, staying is usually the safer option. Third, health. Injury changes everything. A medical emergency can turn a stable situation into a race against time. If someone needs help that cannot be provided where you are, movement may become necessary. And finally, information. The most dangerous decisions in survival are made in uncertainty. If you have no idea what is happening outside, moving blindly can make things worse. But if you receive reliable information that help, heat, or supplies are nearby, that changes the calculation. Shelter, water, health, information. If those 4 systems are stable, the safest strategy is usually the hardest one. Wait. Conserve energy. Maintain the systems you have. Because after 72 hours, survival is no longer about reacting to the blackout. It's about managing the situation you're already surviving. If you want to learn how to think clearly in those moments, subscribe. Because the next situation might arrive without warning.